We've been in the customer service industry for more than 65 years combined. Amos and I created this podcast to share our thoughts on how you can navigate customer service. And while we don't always agree, and I often have to explain to Amos why he's wrong, we hope that you will be the winner based on our experiences working from the inside out.
Bob, it is good to see you. There are times I'm surprised you keep coming back every week for the beating I give you when we have this debate show. Good to see you, man.
Hey, good to see you also, sir.
Look, today I want to talk about a topic that is near and dear to all of us. So, Bob, I don't know if you know about this social network. The way I describe it is if you've ever thought to yourself that there's just not enough drama on Facebook, that you want more of that, boy, have I got an app for you. The app
Okay,
is called,
I'm gonna guess.
what is it?
Next door.
That, that's, that's,
Next
ex-
door.
that is, that is exactly where it is. And every time I get on that app, not that often, like you can't have notifications on, your faith in humanity would just plummet completely. But it did occur to me as I consumed that content for entertainment that we've become a country that just judges everyone around them. Like everyone who knocks on the door is a criminal. We're raiding everyone. Like, when did we become this country where everyone is just snitching on each other and we're suspicious of each other? But then it gets worse. Which brings me to what I really want to talk about today. We even have numbers on it. At least on Nextdoor, it's this moms. Yes, you can tweet at me. It's a lot of moms sitting at home just pontificating about how the neighborhood has gone to shit. But we also rate each other every time we use Uber, every time we use Airbnb. Like we're all just kind of snitching on each other. And you might think, Bob, that I am saying this is a bad thing, and you will be wrong. I think about damn time that the customers get a rating for all of my career, my bonus, and the way I feed my kids has been reliant on the surveys of Joe the customer. About damn time even customers get rated. What say you? Are you on the side of the service employee, or are you going to take the wrong side of this issue as you normally?
Let me see. How would I respond to that? Let me first say that I think I recently found out that ratings as a customer can actually affect my service. Like
Mm.
I didn't understand
Like
fully
you as a
that
customer, your rating impacts you.
I didn't fully understand that the Uber driver could decide not to pick me up because of my rating in Uber. Uh, that is less service. That is so so it is affecting me. The problem that I have with that is I don't have any way to affect that
Mm.
other than to ride 5 more times and be a really nice guy in the back of the car and get my rating up. So there there's something about the lack of transparency of how I got that, or the lack of transparency about how I can argue to that.
Right,
I was in an Uber in San Francisco one of the times, I think it was like late 21. Remember when there was a lull in
right,
COVID and we all decided we were going to travel again?
right.
And I was in a city, I was in 3 different Ubers, and I got a rating and I got a notice from Uber that I had been reported
Oh shit.
as a bad
What
customer.
what did you do, Bob?
Well, he said I rode without a mask,
Okay.
or they said they didn't tell me which one of the three, but the reality was I didn't. You remember me? I was
Yeah,
a
yeah. You were
freak. I
very,
was
yeah, yeah.
I was 3 steps away from being a monk living in a basement during COVID because I have some medical things.
Right,
So the good news was I had ability to respond. The
right.
bad news was that I didn't have ability to fix my rating.
Mm.
And so I I'm okay with the rating, but I want a path to fix it. Um And
So you
and
agree with me that I am right as usual, that it is a good thing that customers everywhere should have a score.
it's not a good thing if there is no path to correct it.
Welcome to the
If
party.
it's going to affect my service. Now,
Of course it's
if you're just rating me for the sake of feeling better about rating me, that's fine. I expect that when I give a bad rating in Uber, that it's affecting that person's something about their job.
well,
I don't have any evidence of that. So I don't have any transparency that I gave a 2 to that Uber driver
right.
and that there was anything that happened to that.
Well, I don't know why this is new, Bob. There are service employees listening to our show. You know, I am a man of the people. Whether it's the drive-through rep, whether it's the customer contact center rep, who's getting scored by you after your phone call, and he doesn't have an appeals process. You tell whatever story you tell, you give him whatever score you get, and voila. Well, if it's good for the geese, it's good for the gander. I don't even know what a gander is, but here's like, tough shit.
Well, but you do have a way to respond, and that is you're being recorded.
Right.
And you and I don't need to geek out on call centers, but I can sit down with my manager and listen to the call and and say I wasn't rude, I wasn't those things.
Yeah,
But I understand what you're saying. I just want there to be some transparency.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
like what's your Uber rating, Amos?
I don't want to talk about it, but
Well, come on. What's your Uber rating? I know what
I
mine is.
I am spotting a 4.75. I think that's decent.
Well, is it? It sounds good, but I got a hunch based on what I've read that you don't necessarily believe that's a good one.
It's
What's good? What's good, Amon?
so if you're listening to this and you're sub 485, you're doing something wrong. You should re-examine your life.
Sorry, what was that? If you're sub 485,
Right. You should re-examine your life. Yes.
and what question do you have for me, Amos?
What is I have a feeling that maybe yours is better than mine. What is
4.87, my friend. So better than 5.
okay. Okay.
So,
Well,
but let's again say something.
right.
Bob, how did you get a 4.87?
Right.
I have no idea.
Interesting.
I have no idea. I don't talk to Uber drivers most of the time. I'm busy on my phone doing something else.
Maybe that's why. Like, so when I found out my Uber rating, I thought it was respectable until I found out it wasn't. I am now over the top nice to them. I've been doing the opposite of everything I do
So
in Uber.
you haven't been your normal self when you're in the
No,
car.
I get in and I go, "How are you doing, sir? Is it okay? Do you mind if I take this phone call? If it's a problem, I can wait." I am trying my best because I have had cars cancel on me in New York. Like I'm standing right there, not cancel on, but I'm standing right there with a group of people. We request Ubers, and they all get their confirmation before me. Like those are real world consequences. So I'm trying to do better
Well,
there.
it also happens. We've been focusing on Uber, but let's add a couple more. It's happening right now on Open Table. So if I make a reservation in Open
Interesting.
Table, the restaurant is giving me a rating as an Open Table
Wow.
consumer. Airbnb is one that
Oh,
definitely
yes.
will nail you to the wall
Yep.
if you leave the place in a bad way.
Yep.
So we're being rated. We are definitely being rated as customers in ways that never happened before, man.
Yeah. So that's a good place to leave it. I hope you guys learned something about this today. Like you're being rated. We're all snitches now. We're all snitching on each other, rating each other. It's a reality. Bob would like some kind of appeal process. I think it's fine. And if you're an Uber driver listening to this, I am really a nice guy. I don't know why I'm a 4 point, sub 4.8. So please give me good ratings. I want to pick up my Yelp. What fun things or not so fun things you want to leave people with this week?
I got one for you. So I was thinking about this in light of the rest of our life.
Okay.
So what if we could give ratings in other parts of our lives?
Oh,
Like,
go on.
what if we could say to our kids, nah, you cleaned it, but it's only a 3.5. So I'm gonna keep a rating on you on a monthly basis, and we'll come together and have a coaching session at the end of the month. Better yet, what if I could give a rating to my spouse? I get up off the couch and I go, that was a good dinner, but I'd only give it a 3.
I would send you to the divorce. Don't try that one at home.
This one I want to do definitely put a hard under the windshield of somebody who parks bad and just say, you've been given a 2.5 rating in your parking job. And then the last one, I think we've said this before. I would like, having worked in contact centers, to be able to give you a rating on the call that you gave me the same way that you're giving me a rating. Now that sort of doesn't jive with what I just said earlier, but it just became funny to me. It's like the tipping thing that we talked about a couple of weeks ago, where every time I turn around, somebody's asking me for a tip. Well, I'd like to give you a rating if I'm gonna tip you.
That's awesome. You know what? I can't follow that. That's a good one. I have a feeling that these jokes Bob are telling when we're doing this show a year from now are actually a real thing. So, a good place to leave it. Good seeing you, Bob.
I'm even more worried that you're going to take them out of context and put them into a best of show, and I'm going to look like I'm trying to rate my spouse.
If you said it, you said it. These are your words.
These are your words.
These are your words out of context.
It will be in the political ad.
It will be there for sure. Good to see you, Bob. I look forward to meeting you next week.
All right. Bye.